I had the most fun with just the flat out Sam Raimi-ishness of all of this. We are back in the MCU. Specifically, we are in the multiverse of madness. It is finally here, Christy and Alonso. We're talking about the Doctor Strange sequel.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
We just saw it last night, along with the Avatar trailer, which we did a little short video about. Go look for that. It will play exclusively before Doctor Strange in 3D. We got to wear 3D glasses again.
Yeah. Now, so are they going to give people glasses to see the trailer in 3D and then take them away to not watch Doctor Strange?
I guess. Maybe they'll come around with a little basket. Anyway, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. What is it about?
Yes. All right. This is a non-spoiler review, everybody. So we're going to keep it reasonably vague.
And then next week we'll come back. Next week we'll come back with spoilers.
Yes. Yes. Tune in next time. We'll spill all the tea next week. So yeah, Doctor Strange has some familiarity with the multiverse, having gone through the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, and this time the multiverse kind of comes crashing on his doorstep. Suddenly, there is a big eyeball tentacle kaiju rampaging through Manhattan, and its target is a young girl named America Chavez, who is a teenager, and apparently she possesses an ability to travel from verse to verse in the multiverse that no one else can. And so, of course, other forces want it, and that leads to some troubles. Doctor Strange also crosses paths with Wanda, who is herself sort of recovering from the events of WandaVision. Here's a word of the wise. If you didn't watch WandaVision on Disney Plus, at least go read the Wikipedia page, because Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness assumes that you are up on WandaVision, because it does matter. It comes into play in the plot as it unfolds here. So I would definitely recommend doing that. Overall, I'm kind of mezzo here. Like, on the one hand, yes, Sam Raimi is directing, and he brings a lot of that Sam Raimi, like the fun jolts and the weird camera angles, and he's having kind of fun. You know, what's always great about Doctor Strange stuff, both in his own movies, but even when he turns up in other Marvel films, it gives these filmmakers license to like go crazy, MC Escher kaleidoscopic, like there is no gravity, there is no physics, you know, it's all just things on top of each other, and it's exciting and it can be fun, and Raimi is having a blast with that aspect of it for sure. Where the movie doesn't hold up for me, or didn't make me leave like feeling exhilarated or excited about it, is that there's so much plot and incident and new people and, you know, multiple versions of people and parallel storylines that I didn't get that sense of character that I think is sort of the secret weapon of Marvel movies. You know, when you think about the arc that Stephen Strange goes through in the first film, where, you know, he's this arrogant prick and he's a brilliant surgeon and he's in a car accident and he loses his ability to be a doctor, and then he, you know, becomes a master of mystic arts and all that stuff. Like, there's a lot that happens, and there's a lot of, you know, places for Benedict Cumberbatch to go. And here it's just like a lot of yelling exposition, you know, and so that
and flailing your hands around to like throw things.
Yeah, you know, so he doesn't really learn anything. If anything, he just sort of like figures out what not to do based on like other Stephen Stranges. I don't know. So that part of it kind of left me a little cold, but as a spectacle, I think it delivers. You know, it gives you all of the big crazy like action, you know, stuff, and the big wild, you know, magician stuff. And of course, if you're like a hardcore Marvel person, there will be moments where you're like, oh my God.
So many. Yeah, I think Sam Raimi runs into the same sort of challenge here that Chloe Zhao did with Eternals, right? When you are a filmmaker with a signature aesthetic and a proven track record, like, how do you maintain that while also like making a film that is, you know, part of this much larger universe, this whole much longer story structure, where you've got to adhere to certain I don't know, beats and wedge in so many characters and incorporate so many other plot lines, because it's not like this is a standalone film. As you say, you've got to know WandaVision really well. We do, because we watched it and we recapped it on our Patreon. But I think the average person shouldn't have to watch a 10 episode series to understand escapist summertime blockbuster fare. That feels like a weakness to me. It rewards you, but then again, we'll go into spoilers when we talk about this next week, but they're like certain pieces of dialogue, they're going to be super confusing to people who haven't seen WandaVision or don't know what it is or don't have the time or can't be burdened or whatever.
Yeah,
so that feels like a weakness to me. I had the most fun with just the flat out Sam Raimi-ishness of all of this, like the creatures. And I would say just even from a visual effects perspective, this looks so different from a lot of the big glossy detached MCU. And I have enjoyed so many of these. Nick and I have our own whole separate Marvel Monday podcast. We'll do an episode next week about this, but cool. there's like a tangibility about this, like I don't want to say it's rough hewn, but like a practicality about this that really marks it differently. That whole big thing with the eyeball creature is so Sam Raimi. The puckishness of it, like it's playful. It's not a horror film straight up, but it's got those horror beats. Elements, but it's a very specific, playful, funny, cheeky Sam Raimi horror kind of.
Yeah, horror. I've seen people say like, "Oh, this is the scariest Marvel movie." It's not scary, it's not. but it's not scary in that fun kind of tongue-in-cheek Evil Dead. Well, not even Evil Dead 2, because that is scary, but it's also funny. This is kind of just funny, and I mean, you're right. It does feel more tangible, even though it is as CG as anything else in the Marvel movies. Like there's not a lot of practical effects going on here. We saw the movie with a friend of ours who is a visual effects producer, and afterwards I turned to him and I said, "Was anybody ever outdoors in this movie?" And he goes, "Probably never. No, it's all blue screen and green screen.
It's all fake New York."
Yeah.
But like I had a really good time for a lot of the time, but it also is kind of dense in a way that like makes you work and think, but not work and think in a substantive way as the first Doctor Strange did, as you mentioned. That first Doctor Strange is one of my favorites in the MCU. That and Thor Ragnarok, like I like the ones that really took chances, and those did. And this feels like it's trying to take chances by having Raimi do his thing, which is a blast, but also it's got to be product. It's got to be cog. I didn't really feel a whole lot for what America Chavez is going through. She felt like the weakest part of it, and everything hinges on her.
Yeah, and I thought this was a potentially fascinating character in a lot of different ways. She has two moms, like
she's gay.
She will be her too. All of this will be cut in other countries, I'm sure.
She's wearing a rainbow flag, a rainbow pin
but
on her jacket.
but she's a child of two women, so there could have been who knows. Anyway, but again, who is this person? I would have liked some kind of setup to her. She's mainly a plot device, so
she's being protected or shuttled somewhere. Elizabeth Olsen is really good in this in ways that we can go into a little more, I think, next week. But the conflict, the evolution of her character through this is like harrowing and heartbreaking, and she's of course, and she could be subtle and powerful, and she's fantastic in the various iterations of herself here. And there's a really cool sequence where they pass through a whole bunch of multiverses really, really fast. And it's so fun and so inventive. And each one has so much cool stuff. Like you can't catch it all the first time.
Yeah, it has a real across the Spider-Verse feeling that moment.
So I had a lot of fun. I brought Nick, and he knows all this stuff, and so he had a really good time too. And we laughed a lot. There are definitely if you are a big Sam Raimi fan, there are some payoffs here for you. I will say that.
I'm with you. Like I had a good time watching it, but when it was over, I was kind of like, I would have liked more heft, Yes.
So what is your number? I'm saying 6.2.
I said 6.5. So
okay. So Doctor Strange is out, Thursday night everywhere, of course. And then this is its big opening weekend. We'll come back to you next Tuesday with some spoiler talk to give you guys a chance to see it then. But let us know if you're psyched for this. Let us know what you thought of it if you go and see it. And we'll have more MCU stuff for you as the summer goes on, because there's always more.
Oh, always.
We got Thor in July, right? Is July Thor?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, we'll come back for more Thor.